You know, when you're on a spiritual path, you kind of expect obstacles, right? Your own doubts, distractions, just how hard it can be. But what if the biggest roadblock wasn't inside you at all? What if it was the gods themselves, actively working against you? That is the wild, stunning premise at the heart of an ancient text we're going to dive into today, the Shiva Gita. So you'd think the setup is pretty simple in most spiritual traditions. You do the work, you follow the rules, and the divine, well, it rewards you. But the Shiva Gita kicks off by throwing a fascinating and frankly a kind of terrifying twist into that whole idea. I want you to just sit with that for a second. Seriously, imagine you are right on the edge of a huge breakthrough, about to achieve ultimate liberation, and then a whole crew of divine beings decides, nope, not happening. And not because you're unworthy, but for a reason that sounds surprisingly political. And look, this isn't me just making stuff up or some modern take on it. This is a direct quote from the text. It says plain as day that a group of deities deliberately create obstacles, that they cloud people's minds to keep them from finding the real path. So, where on earth does an idea like this come from? Well, it comes from a sacred Hindu text called the Shiva Gita. Now, a lot of you have probably heard of the famous Bhagavad Gita, right? This is different. It's a powerful and unique conversation with its own very distinct view on how you get to enlightenment. And this text, it's got a long history. On one side, you can see the modern English translation that lets us access these ideas today. And right next to it, the original Sanskrit from the Padma Purana, which shows us just how deep these roots go. So what is it exactly? The Shiva Gita is basically a conversation. It's a dialogue between the supreme god Shiva and the hero Rama. And the scene is this. Rama is at a total low point. He's in despair. And that's when Shiva shows up to guide him toward what the text calls kaivalyam, the state of absolute total liberation. And get this, right out of the gate, verse 2, the text says something pretty radical. It claims that real liberation, this kaivalyam, you can't get it through the usual stuff like good deeds or charity or rituals. No, it says it can only be reached through jnana, pure, undiluted knowledge of reality. And this, right here, is the key point that sets up the whole conflict. Okay, so this whole pure knowledge thing brings us back to that big question. Why in the world would the gods get jealous? Why would they ever try to stop someone from reaching the highest possible spiritual goal? And what's really cool is that the text, knows this sounds weird, a sage in the story actually asks this exact question, basically saying what we're all thinking. And the answer, well, it reveals this kind of cosmic economy that most of us have never even thought about. Okay, so here's how the logic breaks down according to verses 8 to 12. The whole system of rituals and offerings, it isn't just for us. Those sacrifices, those offerings, they literally feed and sustain the gods. They are, in a very real sense, the gods' food source. So when someone starts seeking liberation through pure knowledge, they realize, hey, I don't need to do all these rituals anymore. They're on a direct path. And the gods, they freak out. They're afraid of losing their food supply. So what do? They interfere. So you've got these two paths, right? On one hand, there's the path of ritual. It's totally transactional. I give you this, you give me that. It works within the system, and it keeps the gods happy and fed. But then you have the path of knowledge. This one's transformational. It's not about a deal. It's about changing who you are at your core. It completely bypasses the gods to go straight for the ultimate truth. And because of that, this is the path the gods see as a threat. Okay, so we've got a major problem, right? The very beings you might pray to for help are actually working against you. It seems totally impossible. But the Shiva Gita offers this beautiful and honestly super simple solution. And this verse, this is the key. It says that true heartfelt devotion to the Supreme Being, to Shiva, brings about this grace that is so powerful, it just completely flips the script. All of a sudden, those gods who are causing all the trouble, they get scared. They pull back their obstacles and, just like the verse says, they run away. And that's the real game changer here. Devotion isn't just another transaction. It's a direct connection. You could almost call it a spiritual hack, a bypass that takes you straight to the source, completely sidestepping that whole cosmic bureaucracy and its jealous gatekeepers. So what does this all-powerful devotion look like in practice? Is it some huge, complicated thing? Nope. Not at all. We're talking about offering a little water, simple greetings, meditating inside your own heart, offering leaves and fruits you could just find in a forest. This path is designed so that absolutely anybody can walk it. And this idea that it's accessible to everyone, that might just be the most revolutionary message in this whole text. This isn't some secret path just for priests or scholars or the upper crust. It is radically, profoundly inclusive. I mean, listen to this quote. For the time this was written, this is absolutely mind-blowing. It explicitly says that even a Shudra, a member of the lowest social caste in the traditional system, can achieve ultimate liberation just through devotion. Your job, your background, your social status, none of it matters. And the Gita goes even further. It calls this devotion all-faced, which basically means it's for everyone, everywhere, at any time. It even says that whether you do it with perfect reverence or even if you do it as a joke, if the devotion is real in your heart, the connection is made. Your intention matters more than the perfect performance of the ritual. So in the end, the Shiva Gita does more than just give us a path to liberation. It challenges the whole idea of spiritual gatekeeping. It suggests that the deepest truth isn't found by following all the rules of some transactional system, but by making a direct, heartfelt connection that goes beyond all systems. And it leaves us with a question that's just as relevant today as it was then. What does it really mean to seek a truth that lies beyond all the rules?